Then still the thought returns, like the thread passage in overtures, giving the key and echo to these pages. When I pass to and fro, different latitudes, different seasons, beholding the crowds of great cities, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Chicago, St. Louis, San Francisco, New Orleans, Baltimore. When I mix these interminable swarms of alert, turbulent, good-natured, independent citizens, mechanics, clerks, young persons, at the idea of this mass of men, so fresh and free, so loving and so proud, a singular awe falls upon me. I feel, with dejection and amazement, that among our geniuses and talented writers or speakers, few or none have yet really spoken to this people, created a single image-making work for them, or absorbed the central spirit and the idiosyncrasies which are theirs, and which thus, in the highest ranges, so far remain entirely uncelebrated, unexpressed. Dominion strong is the body's, dominion stronger is the mind's. What has filled and fills today our intellect, our fancy, furnishing the standards therein, is yet foreign. The great poems, Shakespeare included, are poisonous to the idea of the pride and dignity of the common people, the lifeblood of democracy. The models of our literature, as we get it from other lands, ultramarine, have had their birth in courts, and basked and grown in castle sunshine, all smells of princes' favors. Of works of a certain sort, we have indeed plenty, contributing after their kind, many elegant, many learned, all complacent, but touched by the national test, or tried by the standards of democratic personality, they wither to ashes. I say I have not seen a single writer, artist, lecturer, or whatnot that has confronted the voiceless, but ever erect and active, pervading underlying will and typic aspiration of the land, in a spirit kindred to itself. Do you call these genteel little creatures American poets? Do you term that perpetual, pistorine, past-pot work American art, American drama, taste, verse? I think I hear, echoed as from some mountaintop, afar in the west, the scornful laugh of the genius of these states. Democracy, in silence, biding its time, ponders its own ideals, not of literature and art only, not of men only, but of women. The idea of the women of America, extricated from this fossil and unhealthy air which hangs around the word lady, developed, raised to become robust equals, works, and it may be even practical and political deciders with men. Greater than man, we may admit, through their divine maternity, always their towering, emblematical attribute, but great at any rate, as man, in all departments. Or, rather, capable of being so, soon as they realize it, and can bring themselves to give up toys and fictions, and launch forth as men do, amid real, independent, stormy life. Musings before and after the Civil War called for a uniquely American voice, an American literature. It could be the singular component, aside from our democratic republic, that sets us apart from the rest of the world. We aren't a land of princes, castles, and monarchy. To distinguish ourselves from Great Britain, and even great authors like Shakespeare, we needed voices from the interminable swarms of Americans across great cities and valleys. Rather bitingly, Whitman undercuts American efforts so far to represent America through its literature, because it had not yet mirrored democracy and our contradictions. To transition, he opens the stage to more voices, specifically women, who had mostly populated the domestic sphere or wrote romances that drew upon European narrative structures and themes. I encourage students to think back to this essay and how it sets the stage for literature to come. Whitman himself becomes the first truly American voice, which won him the title, The American Bard. Will the authors act upon Whitman's vision? Thanks for watching. Move on to part 3.